Good morning. So I had a request. Thank you very much for the request about the fruit trees, to have an update on those. So I figure what I'll do is I'll try to keep it short, but I want to actually tell you guys what I'm doing with the fruit trees, what I've already done with the fruit trees, and then go take a look at them real quick so you can see how they're doing. But what I got going is two major things. One is the fertilizer. So I picked up this I guess it was last fall. It was on clearance at Home Depot in the garden section. And since it was on clearance, I figured, you know what? I'll buy a bunch of it and see how it works. If it doesn't work that great, no big loss. I didn't pay full price for it anyway. And if it does work, then hey, I get a great deal and I get some good fertilizer. So take a look at this. Dr. Earth Natural Wonder Organic and Natural Handcrafted Blend Fruit Tree Fertilizer with True Biotic inside. That's a whole lot going on. But I got it because it was on sale, and I used it this year in spring. So it tells you for established fruit trees that you should mix based on the size of your trees. Obviously, you measure 4 to 6 inches above the soil line around the trunk, and then you're going to add just add it to the soil, mix it in and water it in, and then do that. This says every 3 months throughout the growing season, which is basically one time for me. And that's a product I just used. Not really an endorsement, but it so far seems to be working okay. Now, the other issue that we have when it comes to plants and trees and fruit trees, specifically for me, is bugs, insects, things that want to eat my fruits and my trees and stuff. Here, one of the big ones that we've got problems with, last year was bad, this year seems to be pretty bad too, are these Japanese beetles. Not the Asian beetles that look like a ladybug. That's a different one. Those are annoying and disgusting too. But this is the Japanese beetle. It's larger and it has sort of a greenish, metallic, brownish gold colors to it. But yeah, they eat everything, and it's very, very destructive animal, or insect. Still an animal technically. Anyway, so I did it. This is it. All I will use for chemicals as far as insect killer. The farthest I'll go, because it works, and in my opinion, it's one of the better ones to use for safety wise, as far as the effects that it has on fruits and vegetables that I'll be eating. And that is 7, liquid or dust. This one that I have specifically is the liquid, and it is a concentrate. Now, with that, it's something like 4 ounces to a gallon of water. I have like a 1.5 gallon or something like that sprayer, so I mix 6 ounces and pump it up, take it around and spray the trees and the garden and everything. And it works. It really does. You gotta wait a week, at least a week after spraying anything that you're gonna eat. Give it at least a week before you are gonna use them, harvest them, eat them. And then even with that, after you're done eating it, or after you harvest it, wash thoroughly before you eat it, just to be on the safe side. But I use it when I must. It's a very last resort, but this year and last year I've used it a little bit, not like crazy, but I have used it to save our trees and some other stuff. So now let's go out there and take a look at those trees so that we can actually see how it's worked. So, all right, Mrs. Howell's out there mowing, and I'm about to grab the zero turn after I finish this video to go ahead and do some cutting, because this grass has took off like crazy. But here are the trees. Well, that's the biggest producer this year is the peach tree. And you can see I got all kind of crazy contraptions over here. So I did the support on this because it was literally leaning over from the weight of so many peaches. I've shaken it and really worked it to loose any loose ones to knock them off. But the ones that are still there are doing great. They're growing and they're looking good. They're not full size yet, and they're definitely not ripe yet, but they're coming along. And I use this bungees to kind of help the different branches support each other, because this sucker was super loaded. But if you can see, where is it? Right there. Look at that. Asian beetle or Japanese beetle. And that's what they do. Here's the other peach tree. Also doing well. Not as many peaches as the other one, and it's larger, so it supports itself really well. So this one I'm not so concerned about. Some of the branches might break when these things are full size, but this needs a lot of pruning come end of summer. I'm going to do a big cut down on this one. The plums are the other ones that are actually producing, and if you look, I'll show you. Look, these have been sprayed, but those beetles, you see those beetles? This is what they've done. And then I spray and it kills them off and they're gone for a while, but then I get new growth. You see all the new growth on the top, and what do you see? Beetles buzzing around them. Because as soon as the new growth starts coming out, of course it doesn't have any of that insect spray on it. So they can go and eat them and not have any problem with the insecticide. But there's a nice little guy, plum. Same thing over here. I pruned this one back real good this year. It's got quite a few. They're a different type of plum. I can't remember off the top of my head what they are, but they're more of a long sort of oval shape instead of round like the other one was. And then our pear bush, I cut that thing down and it's coming back now. This one is doing great, but no fruit whatsoever, but lots of growth. That's got to be thinned out a lot. That apple didn't produce anything, and this apple we're looking at maybe a dozen. Hopefully I'll get 8 or 10 apples that'll make it full all the way. See, that one's already got a problem. So I'm gonna pull it off of there so that whatever it is doesn't cause the other apple next to it to do something bad, and that energy won't be wasted on this apple. The tree can put it into that apple. But cherries, there was a couple little cherries on this. I pruned it back real good. Bugs and birds, I'm assuming, they got to the couple of cherries that were there. And this little cherry here never had any fruit on it, but I pruned it back earlier in the late spring, early summer, and it's filling in with a lot of new growth on the branches that I left. And yeah, that's pretty much the bulk of it. This plum, I don't know what it's doing, but these things are turning yellow. They're not big enough to start turning yet, but they are. This one's got some damage. Pull it right off. See, this one doesn't have any damage to it, but it started, I mean, it looks like it's trying to ripen, but it's so tiny. Look at that. That's not normal. Same thing, see, this one has damage to it, so I'll pull it off. These ones, they don't have any damage. They look healthy, but they're starting to want to ripen and they're tiny. So, not sure. See the size of those. But yeah, it's kind of weird. Don't know why they're doing that. So that's the fruit tree update. They're not terrible, but not perfect. Nothing ever is perfect. But yeah, they're coming along. If you see something on them, or you saw something that I was talking about that you have input, please let me know. Suggestions, comments, or questions, whatever, and put them in the comments below. Let me know what you're thinking. I appreciate you watching it, and I'll give you more updates as things start to ripen and we get some harvesting, because we're at that stage where things are starting to actually produce their fruits and vegetables and berries and things, so it's coming. Thanks again for watching. Y'all have a great day. If you have nice weather, enjoy it, and we'll see you guys on the next video.